And we're live. Sorry, I'm absolutely all over the place this morning. Just noticed that the music wasn't playing, so thank you for those in the chat that just let me know that. Welcome back for another stream. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. We are back with a Saturday deadline, and there's an unbelievable amount to get through this week, so loads to talk about. We've got this exciting double Gameweek 23 now. We've got the double Gameweek 25, which was announced this week, and then yesterday, double Gameweek 27. I'm just going to see if I can fix no sound on the fly. I'm not sure why it's not playing that. Is it this one? Sorry about that, everyone. Is it that? Oh, there we go. Can you hear the music? Hopefully you can hear the music. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, I didn't have the intro tune, so it must have been a bit of a boring intro without the classic intro music that we always have. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the stream. Let me know if you can hear the music. Hopefully we're all good now. Morning to everyone in the chat. Pratik, Jay. Jay says morning from Focal from the USA. What time's it there, Jay? Are you still awake? Or have you gone to bed and set an early alarm? Music's playing now? Very low. Turn it up a bit. There we go. Hopefully the level's about right. Good now? Morning, John. How are we doing? Andreas, good to see you. Good to see Dave, Cheekster, Austin, Pratik. Loads of members in the chat today. Good to see so many members tuning in. Moad, Rudyverse, Tommy, Imran. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, as I say, there's loads to talk about. We obviously, this week's been a crazy one. We had the double game week 25 announced. So actually 25 is going to be a blank and a double game week. And then of course we've got the double game week 27 now. So in the next 3 game weeks we've got a double game week, a double and blank game week, and then a bit further afield we've got double game week 27 followed by a blank game week 28. So much to think about. We'll talk about chip strategy and all sorts and how we're going to tackle the next leg of this season, because yeah, there's big ground to be made up if you can tackle the next few game weeks effectively. Austin, thank you for the 12 months, 1 whole year. Thank you so much for that, Austin. And he says, morning, Oscar, a whole year as an elite. With Ferguson now showing as available, am I crazy in rolling this week? It would mean I have Gabriel, Martinelli, Ødegaard, Edison and Haaland double game week. I think there's nothing wrong with rolling this week. Pretty much everyone seems to be making transfers, but if you can roll, I think that's absolutely fine. Puts you in a very good position moving forward with the double and blank in 25 in mind, so I think that's fine. Ferguson, I'm not sure if Ferguson starts though, if that's what you're asking. I think he's only just back in training, so maybe we see Welbeck start. Not 100% there, but no, I think that's fine. I mean, Martinelli's the one that people are scratching their head over what to do. Obviously last game week he came off before 60 minutes against Everton for Trossard, and we'll probably see more of the same. Maybe at some point he even gets a bench him. So a lot of people are trying to move him on, but I wouldn't do it just, you know, to completely chop your team up to move Martinelli to Saka or Ødegaard. I would do it if it's logical. So yeah, if you can, I would, but if I'm not sure if Ferguson starts, to answer your question, Austin. Sean says, should I get Sancho in? Definitely wouldn't get Sancho in. So Man United have got 2 single game weeks, followed by a blank game week, followed by Liverpool. So I actually think, if anything, we'll see people going the opposite way. And I think people are going to be selling their Man United assets. I plan to sell Shaw in 25. Bit risky, but I'm benching Shaw this game week. I'm going to start Almiron. I'm going to bench Almiron and start Andreas. Really, really close one. What do you guys think? Andreas or Almiron, if you had to pick between the two? Andreas home to Forest, Almiron away to Bournemouth. Jan says start Almiron, Shaw or Andreas. Oh, okay, well, there you go. So I'm starting Andreas. It's really close. I've got all 3 of them. And I've gone for Andreas. I'm not expecting much from any of them. Almiron's underlying numbers have been shocking since the restart. So poor. He's about 50th in the league for expected goal involvement since the World Cup, since the restart. Andreas is higher, and he's playing home. He's on set pieces. I'm not sure about Shaw. Not sure about Shaw. They've got Casemiro out injured, and we saw last game they leaked 2 goals to Leeds before they turned it around. So Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think it's so close though. I feel like it really could go either way. You know, there's a chance Shaw keeps a clean sheet. There's a chance that Amron starts and gets a return at long last. But you know, 1 goal back in Gameweek 17 and then 5 blanks on the bounce for Amron. Massive drop off. So I'm inclined to just bench Amron and give Andreas the nod. And I've missed a few of Andreas' returns, by the way. Is he the best 4.5 mid we've ever seen? 2 goals and 7 assists. In fact, despite that, he's dropped to 4.4 mil. But yeah, unbelievable value. So I'm happy to play him home to Forest. I know Forest have improved defensively, but I'm happy to start him there. Andreas says, Andreas. I trust Andreas. If anyone knows, it's Andreas. Lundstrom. Yeah, but Lundstrom was a defender. I mean, what's the best midfielder we've ever had that's 4.5 mil? I can't think of many others. There was Todd Cantwell when Norwich came up. He got something like 5 goals, but it all came in like the first half of the season, and then he was just not even in the squad. But Andreas has just been ticking along, starting every game. I think only once he's not played 60 minutes. And as I say, he's on set pieces, which we haven't had with other 4.5 mil mids. There was Milivojevic a few years back at Palace, but I think he was 5 mil, I think, and he scored like 10 goals that season. Dallas was a defender as well, 4.5 mil. But yeah, he deserves a mention because he was playing out of position like Lundstrom was, and he scored something like 8 goals, 5 assists. DCP says, morning Oscar, would you start Nunez or Mitro? I think I would give Nunez the nod, reluctantly. I think I would. He's such a frustrating pick. He continues to generate good XG. Last game week again, he was one of the biggest XG underperformers. He had 0.65 XG in the Wolves game, but obviously failed to score. So I think that's no goals for him since the World Cup. In fact, let me see if I can pull up what his XG is since the World Cup. His is 3.36 since the restart, and he's not scored yet. So he's due a goal, right? He's due a goal. G says, FPL Harry sent me. Oh, thank you, Harry. Isn't he on holiday? Or has he tweeted or something? Thanks for that, Harry. Yeah, I tuned into Harry's stream yesterday because, yeah, he did an early stream because he's going on holiday today. He's off on a nice skiing trip. Alright for some. But, I was saying in the chat, actually, now that I do FPL full time, I have to plan my holidays around international breaks. So, luckily my girlfriend doesn't mind. We're going to Malta in March when there's an international break. But how ridiculous is that? The holidays have to go around the international break, or obviously when the season's over. So once the season's over, I think we'll go to somewhere in the Caribbean for a bigger holiday. How's XG calculated? XG is basically a measurement of the quality of goal scoring chances from the position they are. So let's say if you're literally an inch off the line, there's no goalkeeper there, that's 0.99 XG, probably even higher, 0.99 recurring. Because 99.9% out of 100, you hit that ball into the net. Whereas if someone has a shot from the halfway line, that's going to be 0.01 XG. So it's a measurement of the goal scoring opportunities added together. So in Nunez's case, he takes up all these good positions, gets lots of big chances that ordinarily strikers would be converting. He's just not been converting them, basically. But it's an encouraging from the underlying numbers perspective. And obviously we'll talk about the news in a minute. There are a few players returning for Liverpool, which might help them. Might be an uptick in their form. Tomo says, bring in Saka and Brennan Johnson or Matoma and Nketiah. I prefer option 2. But just double check how your team looks for Gameweek 25, because Gameweek 25 is obviously a blank for 4 teams. I've got the ticker here for you guys, which is as follows. This is basically all the blanks and doubles from now up till Gameweek 25. So obviously we've got a double this week, Arsenal and City. Nothing in Gameweek 24, that'll be an ordinary game week. A good one to roll a transfer if you can. Gameweek 25, Arsenal have got a double, Everton have got a double, Liverpool have got a double, and Wolves have got a double. So this was the one that was announced this week. It was previously just a blank game week, but now it's a double and a blank. Brentford, Brighton, Man United and Newcastle. don't play that week. So Mitoma's a great pick, really good pick. You just have to look at your team and make sure you're going to be okay by the time you get to 25. And looking further afield, we'll talk about this again more later in the stream. We had the announcement yesterday of a double game week 27, so that's going to come a couple of weeks after they blank in 25. And this is a really nice double game week. Brighton have got Leeds away, Palace at home. Brentford's is nice as well. Everton away, Southampton away. Palace and Southampton's less so. They've got Man City and Brighton, and Southampton have Man United and Brentford. So I would lean towards the Mitoma pick because I rate him higher than Brennan Johnson, and also he has that double further afield. Morning Devin, how are we doing? A-Bot says, hey Oscar, thanks for the content. Forgot about Kilman and I put in Bueno. Regrets. Also, thoughts on who to replace Shaw with as he's gone in blank game week 25. So, one of my recommendations would actually have been Kilman. For those that don't know about Bueno, he was benched last game week. 8-0 he started. And Wolves beat Liverpool 3-0. So, it wasn't like it was a bad game or anything. So, it's a bit unclear now. I think he will come back in. Maybe he'll rotate with 8-Nori. So I think you're okay with Bueno, but yeah, he might miss a game in the double, he might not. He's been nailed up until last game week. So I wouldn't go double Wolves basically. So my suggestion would be, I'd say Tarkowski, as long as you don't need to play him this week. Everton have got Liverpool this week, but then look at the fixtures after. Leeds at home, Aston Villa at home, Arsenal away. So this is the double game week here. Obviously Arsenal away is going to be tough. They did beat Arsenal 1-0 last game week. Forest away, Brentford at home. And then in game week 28, which will be the biggest blank game week of the season, they are guaranteed to play. But again, it is against Chelsea. It's not great, but this is going to be a week where if you don't use a chip, you'll take everyone you can get playing in your team. Shafquat says, hello Oscar, is captain in Nketiah too much risky? It's risky, but the upside couldn't be any higher if that comes off. You know, if City continue to disappoint, they have been a bit hot and cold recently, then, yeah, if Nketiah outscores Haaland, the upside is absolutely massive. I don't think it's crazy at all. In my team, he's the second best option, so that's why he's my vice-captain. Morning, Hassan. Yeah, all's well today. Exciting news. I'm going to the Arsenal game today. Got tickets for Arsenal v Brentford, so as soon as this stream ends, I'll be getting ready, and then I'll be jumping on the train, and I'll be on my way to the Emirates. A few beers with my brother before. Buzzing for that, considering I've got Nketiah, Odegaard, and Gabriel playing as well, so can't wait. It's going to be a good day. And then after the game, I'm meeting up with an old friend who I've not seen for a very long time. What drink? What, today or for the stream? For the stream, I'm on the water. I went out last night as well, so I'm just taking it easy. Don't know today. Maybe an ale. I was drinking old fashions last night. Trying to look a bit classy. DCF says, would you use a wildcard on Game Week 25 or Game Week 28? Definitely not 25. I wouldn't suggest anyone uses a chip in 25. I think that's a week that we can get to without needing chips. I'll put up the graphic again just to look at it. So if we start with Arsenal, they double now. So for me, it's non-negotiable. You have to be tripled up on Arsenal. 2 double game weeks in the space of 3 game weeks says to me you have to be tripled up there. So yeah, that's easy to start on now, and you'll have triple here. Everton, there's not really that many assets. You might want to grab one, like Tarkowski. And then Liverpool, there is the option to move someone like De Bruyne or Bruno, who a lot of us have got in 25. Again, you don't need to free hit. I think if you can just scrape through 25, you're fine. I'll probably have 10, maybe 11 if Patterson plays that week. And obviously Wolves, it's not the best double game week, but if you wanted to bring in a player, then that's fine. Wolves aren't guaranteed to play in Game Week 28 either, so I think it's a waste to wildcard in 25. Almiron Tamares for a -4. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, I think that's fine. I've got a graphic to share with you guys in a minute, actually. Some Man City start on 11 predictions. RG Hoops says, "Hi mate, would you start Mitoma, start Mitrovic, or start Brennan Johnson for Mitro, or transfer in Brennan Johnson for Mitro and start him for that 11th player?" No, I'd just start Mitoma. I think that's a waste of a transfer. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Fulham have a chance of playing in 28 as well, so it depends how you want to tackle the next few game weeks. But I think a player like Andreas or Mitrovic can be handy. But again, it's team dependent. If you have the option to go Mitrovic to Nketiah, then I think that's an excellent move this week. I would much rather do that than Brennan Johnson. I know Johnson's been doing pretty well, but I wouldn't go there myself. FPL Jones bloke says, "Come on you Gunners, enjoy the game Oscar." Thanks mate. Yeah, I can't wait. I've been trying to get tickets all season. And yeah, someone reached out and finally I've got tickets, so I'll be taking my little brother. Duncan says, "Bruno Mahrez 0 or Mitoma and KDB -4. Can't do KDB to Salah. Bench 1. Shaw, Tarkowski, play bench, Nonto, have Kane, Haaland, Odegaard, Saka, Rashford, opinions above, triple captain." So I wouldn't take a -4 for Mitoma. Again, unless you're absolutely perfectly set up for Gameweek 25, but I would doubt it. I imagine you're not. So I would say Bruno and Mahrez would be my pick between those. And you might still have a route to get to Salah by the time Gameweek 25 rolls around. You never know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. There might be someone you'd be happy to downgrade in order to fit Salah in. And there's every chance that Salah completely flops in Gameweek 25. The only reason that I'm considering it is because Bruno blanks that week and Salah doesn't. So it kind of makes sense for me to make that switch. Because I gain 2 fixtures. I don't know if I'll captain Salah or Odegaard or Nketiah. But I gained 2 fixtures and Liverpool might not blank in Gameweek 28, so I prefer the first option. And you can avoid a -4 as well. Hopefully my mic sounds okay today. Sometimes I forget to point it straight at my mouth so that the audio sounds worse. I've done like videos before where I've had the mic pointing the wrong way and I've had to re-record. Absolute nightmare. Kilman Tarkowski. So, if you don't need to play whoever you bring in this week, Tarkowski, he's guaranteed to play in Gameweek 28. Kilman has a nice fixture this week though, away to Southampton, so if you need to start them, then Kilman. Jay says, "Need some advice mate, Gameweek 23, Bruno to Mahrez or De Bruyne. Gameweek 25, one of those to Salah." By the way, you and Raptor are doing a phenomenal job, both down to earth. Thank you, Jay. So, I prefer De Bruyne between De Bruyne and Mahrez, but it's a lot of money difference, so it depends what you can put that money towards. And yeah, I think one of those to Salah is okay. I did consider Bruno to De Bruyne myself, but it was Messi in my team, so it is a team dependent one. You have to just look at your future transfers and how they'd map out. And if I went Bruno to De Bruyne, I think it might be slightly worse for me because I miss out on Bruno's points over the next 2. And it left me with Doherty, who's left my team. I haven't even talked about my transfers, by the way. I went Doherty to Akanji late last night. So I prefer De Bruyne to Mahrez, but it's team dependent. It depends on the rest of your team basically and other transfers that you're missing out on. And for me, I think it made sense to get rid of Doherty. You know, he's not even going to play again this season, so I've moved him on and doubled up in defence. But it's trickier in Gameweek 25. We have to see how Salah does in the next 2. Bruno to Salah is much easier to justify than De Bruyne to Salah because De Bruyne's got Bournemouth. But you've got a couple of weeks to wait and see what happens. He could do exceptionally well over the next 2, and you might get to Gameweek 25 and think, I'm absolutely happy to go without Salah at this point. But yeah, I prefer De Bruyne. Long story short. Best Man City defender. So I think it's Akanji. It's close between Akanji and Ake. I was talking to Luke, Fantasy Football Scout Luke, a couple of days ago. He's quite good with the Man City predictions. And in his view, it might be one of Ake and Laporte that starts left centre-back. It depends how Pep lines up as well. This is the thing. We don't know how Pep's going to line up, let alone who he's going to pick. If he persists with a back three, then it might be Laporte as the left-footed centre-back. And then it might be two right-footed centre-backs like Diaz and Akanji. It could also be Ake. Ake might even start both. I did read that Laporte was unhappy about his minutes. So I just wonder if Laporte gets a game. And to be fair, Akanji's been playing more minutes than any defender. I mean, look at this. All the way back since Gameweek 8, actually. The only time he didn't play more than 60 was in the Chelsea game, where he played 45. I think he might have been benched that game and came off. So one benching since Gameweek 8. So to me, he looks like the more reliable. So that's why I've gone for Akanji. He's only 5 mil. And I do need my players to start in Gameweek 25 as well. Because if you look at my team, I've got Trippier, Bruno, Rashford, Almiron and Shaw. And maybe Patterson that don't play. So what's that? 6 players? 7 players? 6 players? And our bench is only 3. So I need to basically bring in players that I think are going to start. Or are the likeliest to. Otherwise my team's going to be down bad basically in 25. Kaliga says, bench 1 of Rashford, Bruno, Kane, Martinelli and Mahrez. Oh, that's brutal. Rashford, Bruno, Kane, Martinelli and Mahrez. Is there no one else you can bench? I wouldn't want to bench any of those. Rashford, Bruno, Kane, Martinelli and Mahrez. Oh, probably Bruno, but that's terrible. I wouldn't want to bench any of those. Is there no one else you can bench? I mean, I look at that and those are 5 players that are like the core of anyone's team. Martinelli obviously not, but he's got a double game week. You don't bench Martinelli in a double. You don't bench Mahrez in a double. Rashford's been flying. Kane's been flying. So it has to be Bruno, but that one's got potential to backfire. But I'd say Bruno. Mashikos says never have 5 top mids. I think it depends. Team shape changes throughout the season. Do you guys remember Game Week 1? When everyone had a premium defence? People had Trent, James, Cancelo, like Cucurella and Trippier or something like that. It's like a premium back 5. And then Trent disappointed. Cancelo was doing okay at the start. James didn't. Things change fast. And now, really, the template's a fairly light back 3. So where does that money go towards? Midfield or a threemium? So in my case, it's the threemium: Kane, Haaland, and Bruno, and then potentially in Game Week 25, Bruno to Salah. Yago2 says thank you. 4:45 in the morning. And he says start Cucurella, Shaw, or Almiron. Well done. Appreciate the quality and effort. Good luck. Cucurella, Shaw, or Almiron. Who have Chelsea got this week? I'm leaning towards Almiron. They're away to West Ham. I think Almiron, because Chilwell's back, so he could be competing or even take that left back spot from Cucurella at some point. So it's between Shaw and Almiron. I like the upside of benching Shaw this week. He's a popular defender. They're missing Casemiro. They're away to Leeds, who just put 2 past them. So if Leeds can do us a favour and wipe the clean sheet out, then I think there could be nice points gained against the masses. Certainly in my case, because I've got 2 double game week defenders. And then obviously Trippier, who everyone's got. So I'd say Almiron. Fun stat. Over the season, Bournemouth have conceded more chances than anyone down their left flank. And I think in terms of crosses, they're similarly high. So that's a stat that actually favours Almiron. So that's why I was very reluctant to bench him. I see Luke's in the chat as well. He says, oh, you went to Kanji. Yeah, he's probably the safest for 25. Yeah, shout out to FFScout_Luke on Twitter. Give him a follow. He does Man City predictions every week. In fact, Have you done any for this week? Did you post that graphic you sent me, Luke? That'd actually be quite handy to look at now. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, perfect. So, left is Villa, right is Arsenal. So, yeah, for those of you that have got a Man City headache, which pretty much all of us do, I've got the predicted Man City lineups from Luke. Again, it's just a prediction, and it's so hard to say what Pep will do in terms of formation and obviously selections and who's going to come in and so on. But I'll share it with you guys. So the first one, this is for Aston Villa, I believe. So a back three. Again, a prediction, I must emphasise, but a shout out to Luke for doing these for us each week. And he's got the back three, Laporte, Diaz, Akanji, Rodri, Lewis, Gundo, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Haaland and Foden. I did read that Foden's back in training, so yeah, I'm less bullish on Grealish now. If Pep had said Grealish is still out, still ill or whatever, then I think there would have been logic in going for Grealish. And their numbers have been similar since the World Cup. And then this is the Arsenal prediction, a back four, Ake, Laporte, Akanji, Walker. So yeah, again, Akanji appears in both of these, Ake doesn't. So that's why I landed on Akanji. It was primarily down to Luke's advice. Again, as I say, it's a prediction, so no hard feelings, Luke, if you're wrong on this one. But yeah, Luke knows better than many. I do have one other Man City prediction graphic as well, which we'll look at. But yeah, Mahrez is the other one who appears in both of these, as does De Bruyne. Grealish comes in. So yeah, it looks quite good if you're a Mahrez owner. And thanks for that graphic, Luke, if you're still in the chat. Thanks for the super chat, Patrick, as well. Appreciate that. Dive says, best De Gea replacement, not City or Arsenal. It really depends on how you plan to tackle the rest of the season, because Pickford has a double in 25 and he doesn't blank in 28. But if you plan to free hit or wildcard in 28, then you could probably make the case for Sanchez from Brighton. Or maybe Raya. But it depends if you need to start them this week, who your backup keeper is. So it's quite hard to say, to be honest with you. But the simple answer is Pickford. Obviously Dyche is coming as well, so he's a more defensive-minded manager. So I mean, we saw as recently as last game week, 1-0 to Arsenal, the league leaders. So I think there could be some good value in that in the Everton defence. But you might be reluctant to double up if you're looking at Tarkowski as well. So it does depend. There's a few options there. Sanchez and Raya are good as well because they've got the double Gameweek 27. But it depends if you have a keeper to play in 28, obviously, which is a big blank game week. The Broken Machine says, hey Focal, would you do Almiron to Matoma and play him, or bench Shaw and just save the transfer? Yeah, again, this one's quite team dependent. I would save the transfer unless your team's really well set up to the point where you can get through Game Week 25. We'll have a look at the Game Week 25 graphic again. If you can get through Game Week 25 fine, then Matoma's okay, he's absolutely fine. But I don't think that's the case for many teams. Most of us are on Triple United because of the last double game week. We've all got Trippier pretty much. Some of us have even got two, like Almiron. In your case, you've got Almiron. Many of us have got Botman or Pope. Some have got Brighton players like Dunk, Matoma. Some of us have got Reddy. Obviously, in your case, you don't. Brentford, some have got Tony or Ben Mee. So I don't think many people are set up to get through 25 perfectly right now, unless they've got quite lucky of how things have fallen or if they've wildcarded. So you're selling a blank Game Week 25 player for another. So if your team looks in good shape for 25, then yeah, that's fine. But I would be inclined to just roll the transfer myself. White to Gabriel for a -4. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it personally. You're betting 4 points on either White being benched for a game or Gabriel getting an attack in return, or White coming off before 60 minutes. I don't know what the chances of that are happening are. No idea. I mean, let's say it's 50-50. Would you bet 4 points on a 50-50 flip of a coin? Probably not. I think the odds would be against you in terms of gaining points on that call. -8 white to Gabriel. I mean, that's even harder to justify. Maka says, Mitro hat-trick coming up. Trust. Yeah, I mean, it's a good fixture. Home to Forest. But I can understand people selling Mitro for Nketiah. It is understandable. A lot of people are asking Kepa or Pope. Pill and Ali both asking. Bill, sorry, not Pill. I've got the clean sheet odds, which will help answer that. So Newcastle 47% chance, Kepa 34% chance. So a pretty simple one actually. I mean, I could have told you that about looking at this. To be honest with you, Bournemouth, their attacking numbers are pretty poor in terms of XG. Shots taken and so on, so absolutely I would be starting Pope this week. Is selling Trippier too risky? Yeah, it's too risky. There's no reason to do that before Bournemouth. Maybe in 25 you can make the case, but I mean, let's take this opportunity to talk about blank Gameweek 28. I know it's much, much further ahead, but it actually does have relevance now. This is a graphic from Ben Crellin. There's only 4 guaranteed fixtures to go ahead currently. Arsenal, Palace, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton and Nottingham Forest and Newcastle. So Newcastle guaranteed to play in Game Week 28 and it's against Forest. So I think Trippier is a very tough sell. Top scoring defender. I know he blanks in 25 and the fixtures either side aren't great, but I think it's a very, very tough sell. You'll end up wanting him straight back as soon as the difficult games are out of the way. And even then, to be fair, we've seen him return against top teams, so I'd be very hesitant. Anyway, I haven't even taken the opportunity yet to say thanks all for tuning into the stream. Like the stream if you are enjoying it so far. We've got 200 likes. Let's get it to 500. Everyone drop it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already as well. I do these streams every game week for you guys. I do FPL content, lots of videos. So thanks for all the support. Novus says 1 to bench, Saka, Ødegaard, Andreas, Rashford and Bruno. Has to be Andreas. 100% Andreas. Yeah, that's quite a straightforward one. Yeah, I've got a bench and dilemma in my team involving Andreas, but it's Andreas or Almiron. Or Shaw to be fair, but I think it's between Andreas and Almiron. Oscar Kelly says bench boost with Leno, Botman, Shaw and Fernandes. Leno, Botman, Shaw and Fernandes on the bench and Ake and Lewis starting. Love the content, fellow Oscar. Thank you to a fellow Oscar for the super chat. So, you're asking whether to bench boost with Leno, Botman, Shaw and Fernandes on the bench. You know what? I think that's actually justifiable. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I know it's a single game week, but and I don't know your full team, but if you're expecting everyone to play, then yeah, I actually think that's worth bench boosting. Fulham's clean sheet odds are pretty decent this week. Botman's obviously are. Shaw's got Leeds, decent fixture still. Even without Casemiro, you never know. Fernandes, obviously. Ake and Lewis, yeah, you'd have to start. But the thing is, you would start Ake over Botman, right? And you'd start Lewis over Shaw. Sorry, that's what you're saying. Yeah, so I'd bench boost that. Leno, Botman, Shaw and Fernandes. Honestly, I would say don't be afraid to bench boost in a single game week. I know everyone talks about doing it in doubles, but when you've got a bench as stacked as that, it makes perfect sense to me. I bench boosted last season. I was 300th, and the bench boost came off. And then after the game week, I was 2nd overall. And then a few weeks later, I got up to number 1. So, yeah, don't be afraid to bench boost a single. Worked for me last season anyway. I've not had an opportunity like that to do it this season. My bench is actually right this week, but it's nowhere near as good as yours. Janega says, hey Focal, start Dunk or Shaw, still 50-50, got Laporte in on draft as well. Oh, good pick up and draft. Happy to see him in both predicted lineups. Dunk or Shaw. I think Shaw. Let's just have a quick look at the clean sheet odds again. $36 for Brighton. Man United 31.5. Yeah, it's close because Shaw's got the attacking threat. He might get you something. Who have Brighton got this week? They away to Palace. I think I'd start Shaw. It's quite close, but I think I'd start Shaw. Obviously, the clean sheet odds, they are very useful when you've got two 50-50 calls, but you have to factor in attacking threat when it's a player like Shaw or when it's someone like Dunk who doesn't have that same threat. So it's very, very close. I would say Shaw. Dimitri says, I've got 3 Arsenal and I've got Mahrez for 1 free transfer. I can't afford to do Bruno to KDB. A, should I go for a Man City defender for a -4? B, remain with 2 Man City? Or C, get another defender for Gameweek 25? If A, who? So you've got Mahrez and Haaland. Those are your 2. I don't think I'd get a Man City defender for a -4 myself. I don't think I would do it. It depends who the best of your defence is. You know, like I sold Doherty, and maybe you could justify that for a -4, especially if you're forced to start him, but I don't think I'd do it for a -4, not for a defender. And if you can't do Bruno to KDB, that's fine. I could do it, but I still didn't do it myself. I'm quite happy to keep hold of Bruno for the next 2. I don't mind that at all. I mean, look at his consistency. If you're not able to sell Bruno, it's not the end of the world. Very consistent return since the restart. So I would leave it. I mean, in terms of Gameweek 25 defenders, again, there's no one really this week besides Kilman, so I wouldn't do it. Thank you for the 14 months, Max. He says, loving the stream so far. Would you do Doherty to Lewis/Walker or Pope to Edison? I have a good bench, so Doherty's not urgent. I prefer a Kanji if you can afford him. I mean, that's the exact move I made. I did Doherty to a Kanji, so that's where I would go. Pope to Edison, it depends who your backup keeper is. If you've got 2 keepers that are blank in 25, then go Pope to Edison, because Edison plays in 25, Pope doesn't. But if your backup's Kepa, then it's not so bad. Do Chelsea have Spurs in 25? Is that right? Yeah, I think I would remove Doherty for a Kanji. I think that's where I'd go. Pope to Edison is actually very justifiable, because then you can play him away to Bournemouth. And that's almost a booked-in clean sheet for me, away to Bournemouth in Gameweek 25. Whereas Kepa's away to Tottenham, which, yeah, much harder to say there's going to be a clean sheet in that one. But I say that, I've landed on the wrong side of Kepa and Edison so many times since the restart. It's unbelievable. I think I'd go Doherty to Akanji, because you get a double now and you get a player that plays in 25. Hope that helps. Thank you, Matthew Webb, for becoming a member as well. Thank you for that, Matthew. Yeah, if anyone's interested in becoming a member, it's the join button below this stream, or there's links below to become a member or patron. It's the same thing. You get early access to my videos. There's a private channel on the Discord server for members only. And you get a little badge by your name in the chat and in comments, and some goodies like that. So if you're interested in supporting the channel and you're enjoying the content, then that's one way to do it. And I think it's only like £1 or £2. Bargain. Where did I get to in the chat? Let me scroll down. Did that one. Connor Jones says, Captain Nketiah, City's form's tempting me. Yeah, I don't hate it. Let's have a look at the projected points for Gameweek 23 from FPL Review. It is Haaland top of the projections, right? And we know how high his ownership is, and the potential for it to backfire if he hauls. So it takes a brave decision to bet against Haaland. We've seen it come off before, on several times this season, to be fair. It's just hard to say what we see from City. Do we see a bigger response? Do we see a well organised Emery side that make it difficult for City. Not many goals. But yeah, after Haaland, there's Saka and Nketiah, the next two top on the projection. So I don't hate it at all. And he's nailed for the double. Jesus isn't anywhere near playing this game week, so I don't mind it at all. I don't mind the Nketiah pick. Yeah, if I wasn't going for Haaland, then Nketiah and Saka are the two best. I haven't got Saka, but as you can see, I vice-captain Nketiah for that reason. So I think he's a shout, definitely. A bold one. Janega says, thoughts on Kulu and Maddison and Bowen on wildcard 27, free hit 28. What's the thinking? Because they double in 29? I haven't actually looked at what the double game at 29 will look like, to be honest with you, but I mean, none of those three names have particularly impressed this season. I know Maddison's back from injury and he has the potential to become a good asset again. He was earlier in the season, but it's too early to say. I mean, right now, I think it's like almost a redundant exercise to talk about them because so much can happen over the next 5 game weeks that by the time we get to game week 27, it might be 3 completely different mids that you want. So, but yeah, it's a viable chip strategy. I mean, let's talk about chip strategy. This is a few suggested routes from Ben Crellin. And game week 27 is, of course, the small double game week for Brighton and Brentford and Southampton and Crystal Palace. So if I was going to wildcard in 27, I don't know why I'd have Cooley, Maddison and Bowen. I would have Mitoma, I'd have Tony, those sort of players, right? Maybe Sanchez in goal, maybe Ben Mee in defence. That gives you 4 players that double in double game week 27. I think I like this bottom one the most, by the way. And then you free hit 28, which is going to be the biggest blank game week of the season. And then you could bench boost in 29, which is the biggest double of the season. It just depends on when we get the double game week 29 fixtures announced as well. So there's a lot of ifs and buts at the moment, and there's a few ways you can do it in terms of transfers and chips. I think the picture will become clearer nearer the time. Matthew Webb says, yo, Focal, I have Martinelli, Bruno, Kane. Is it worth taking -4 to get Saka, De Bruyne, or Martinelli to Mitoma? Hang on, Bruno, Kane to get Saka, KDB, or Martinelli to Mitoma and Dunk to Gabriel. So are you saying Martinelli and Bruno to Saka and KDB? I think, yeah, definitely. Those are 2 good moves. Hang on, I don't understand it. Martinelli and Bruno to Saka and KDB. If that's what you mean, then yeah, definitely. That's such a good move. Yeah, because Martinelli's an upgrade to Saka, Bruno's an upgrade to KDB. Makes perfect sense to me. Dunk to Gabriel's much less inspiring, if you ask me. Get Martinelli to Mitoma, Dunk to Gabriel. I prefer the first option, definitely. Zayab says, hey Oscar, would you do White to Gabriel for a hit? Nah, not for a hit. Not in isolation. Not for me. If it's in combination with another move, then I guess so, but not on its own. Not. As I was saying earlier, if you're going White to Gabriel, you're basically betting that Gabriel gets an attack in return, or that White comes off before 60 minutes, and Gabriel keeps a clean sheet. I don't know what the odds are of those happening. Hard to say, but I think if you knew the percentage chance, let's say if it was 1 in 3 chance, would you say you'd bet 4 points off your team on a 33% chance of gaining more? Probably not. The odds are against you. I wouldn't do it. So if anyone that's considering that, I would just stick with White. But obviously, as I was saying, if it's a combination move, like let's say if you went Bruno to Saka, something like that, then maybe you could justify it. Or that's a bad example, actually. Something like that, though. Maybe in combination, but not in isolation. Bassett says, Haaland triple captain, Gameweek 23, Saka for Martinelli. Saka for Martinelli makes perfect sense, definitely. Haaland triple captain. Let's do a poll on this. I'm interested to know what you guys think. If you still had your triple... I'm gonna say if you still had, so that everyone can get involved in this poll. Would you use it now or later? So yeah, the question is, would you use it now on Haaland or later? Forgot to do polls actually. How long have we got? 45 minutes till the deadline. We'll do a few polls. That's the first one. If you still had your triple captain, would you use it now on Haaland or later? I won't give my answer yet because I don't want to influence the poll. James Price says, if I wildcard this week, do you have to use the bench boost in Gameweek 25 or 27? No, you don't. You definitely wouldn't use it in 25 because you won't have 15 players. 27 probably not either. I think 29. 29 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, so probably then. But you have to see how the landscape looks nearer the time. Because right now we don't know what the doubles are going to be that week. But yeah, not 25. I think I'm caught up in chat. Ethan says, burn to Lewis, free up funds for Nonto to Kane. Oh yeah, I don't mind that at all. Burn to Lewis, Nonto to Kane. I mean, you must have a lot of money in the bank to be able to go Nonto to Kane. But yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's quite a good pair of moves, if I'm honest. A lot of people sold Kane last week for Nketiah. And were immediately punished. You know, Kane's been so consistent all season long. I think he's blanked 5 times across the entire season. 17 goals, 5 assists. I like it. Good moves. I would do that. Jordan says, hi Oscar, why Andreas instead of Shaw? Yeah, this was such a close one. I just wonder if Leeds could put one past United again, right? They put 2 past them last game week. Casemiro is still out suspended. It's a bit of a punt, but my ranks... It's been the worst rank I've ever had this deep into the season. My rank's normally considerably higher, so I just want to take a few punts here and there. Like Nketiah was a punt for me a few game weeks ago before everyone got him. Same with Ødegaard. I got him a while ago before everyone was on Ødegaard. And I just want to keep taking these little opportunities here and there. A lot of people own Man United defence. So if Leeds can put one past Man United again, and this time Leeds are at home, then I think there's points to gain there. And yeah, Andreas, he's on set pieces for Fulham. I think it's not out of the question for Fulham to get something against Forest. Playing at home as well, where they're a much tougher side. Sorry, Jack, ask it again. I missed that. Jack Milner. Janega says, Tarko25, nice to keep all strategies open as well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just looking at the double Gameweek 25 fixtures again. Everton have got Leeds at home in 24, so you could play him then if you ended up bringing him now for your bench. And then Aston Villa and Arsenal in 25. And then if we look further ahead to 28, Everton play that week as well, guaranteed, but it is away to Chelsea. The rest have varying blank percentage chances. So Southampton and Tottenham, for example, and Brighton and Man United basically guaranteed to blank. City and West Ham likely as well. There's a pretty fair chance Brentford and Leicester do. It's just Wolves, Leeds, Liverpool and Fulham that might not. So this is why people are considering players like Kilman, Salah in 25, because they double then and they might play in 28. But anyway, we'll talk about it more in videos that I make in the coming weeks, because we don't have to worry about it too much right now. But make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on that content. Jack says Walker to Akanji for a -4. Oh, reluctantly, I think I would do that. The reason being is that you need someone who's going to play in Gameweek 25 as well. Walker, you can't say that about him, and you can't really say there's any chance he plays both this game week. So I think I'd actually very reluctantly make that move. You're betting on a clean sheet, which, I mean, we looked at the clean sheet odds, and City's chances were fairly high. It's mainly that Aston Villa fixture. I think I would do it, just about. But this is the scout selection. I'll just read it through in case anyone's listening in the background and not watching the stream. In fact, how many of you listen to these streams on in the background and don't watch it? Let me know in the chat. Are you guys actually watching the stream? Or have you got this on in the background? Quickly come back to your phone or your computer and let me know whether you're watching or whether you just had it on in the background. Ashwin says, I feel called out. Busted. Ashwin wasn't watching. He was listening in the background. Not listening? What do you mean not listening? You're just watching and not listening. Background stream. Bit of both. Background. Watching every second, lad. Thanks, Noctambuli. Sky Girl watching. Harley's just listening. Stop exposing me. I know what you're doing. I know you guys listen in the background. You're not watching. As I say every stream though, tag me in a photo of wherever you're watching from around the world. It's quite nice to see where you're tuned in from. I'll retweet a photo if you tag me in it. Background while making coffee. Nice. Anyway, we've got a good half an hour or so to the deadline. Making egg on toast. Nice. Watching me pick my nose. You have a beautiful voice, man. Alright, thank you, thank you. Let's get back on track. Right, so the Everton... I've lost the plot now. You're throwing me straight off. You're playing Hogwarts Legacy. From Australia, lots of love. Right, we've got the scout selection for Game Week 23. Which is Ederson in goal, Trippier, Shaw, Gabriel, Saka, Mahrez, Rashford, Matoma, Haaland captain, Kane and Nketiah. What do you guys think? It's a really good team this week, I think. What do you guys think? Watch him, Brev. Yeah, I mean, the last few seasons, the scout selections have been pretty questionable, but I have to say, this season... they've actually been really good. Last game week they scored something like 103 points, and they don't get a triple captainship, just captaincy. So, yeah, they seem like a more and more useful resource this season. So yeah, that's the scout selection. They've got the triple Arsenal, they've got the triple City. The rest of the picks are pretty logical. Matoma, Trippier, Shaw, Kane. Good team this week. So yeah, we'll go back to that poll. Thanks for the reminder. The question was, if you had your triple captain, would you use it now or in Haaland later? 39% say now, 61% say later. It's really close. It might, not the poll results, obviously. For me, I think I would save it and I would use it in Game Week 25 now on an Arsenal player. This is a nice looking double. Leicester away, Everton home. I think I would save it and use it on Ødegaard or Saka that week. Or Nketiah if he's still guaranteed to play both games. So, we've got another poll coming. And the poll is, who is your captain for Game Week 23? So the options are Haaland, Saka, who else? Who else should I include? Ødegaard? Other. Get your votes in. Let's see how captaincy's looking in the final half an hour before the deadline. FPL Father Ted's on Haaland captain. John Hamilton says, come on, like. Yeah, we're on 425. Let's try and get to 500. Like the stream if you're enjoying it so far. We've got about 2k tuned in. Great turnout today. It's been a really enjoyable stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the content I prepared for these. Obviously you can't see it, but on my screen, every stream, I bring up about 30 tabs. I'm not even joking. And I hop between them to talk about various talking points and graphics I've prepared for the streams. So, yeah, there's actually a lot that goes into these streams. So, yeah, thank you for the support. Jack Scullion says, I can get to the scout selection, but Kepa instead of Ederson by doing Bruno and Martinelli to Mahrez and Saka. Bruno and Martinelli to Mahrez and Saka. Is it worth it? I think it is, you know. I think it is. Those moves actually make a lot of sense. You gain a fixture from Mahrez now, assuming he plays both games. You gain a fixture in 25. And obviously Martinelli's minutes are a massive question mark now with Trossard. So I think there's a lot of logic in those moves. And you might even be bringing in a potential captain option in Gameweek 25. I suppose one thing to check out is... What's that behind me? What is that? Oh, it's the green screen. This green screen's terrible. Anyway, you're not here for me anyway. You're here for the stream and the commentary, not for me. What was I talking about? Yeah, so you bring in a potential captain for 25 as well in Saka. So I like that. Those are good moves. Captain poll results. Haaland 86%, Saka 7%, Odegaard 4%, and 3% other. If you voted other, let me know in chat who it was. Who's your other captain? Thanks for the super chat, Christabel, as well. Appreciate that. There's no message with that one, but thank you. The other is Mahrez captain. Okay. Oh, Nketiah. Yeah, Nketiah. Tony to Nketiah for -4. I would do it. Brentford have got a single game week, Arsenal away. Nketiah's got a double game week. I think that's a fine -4 to take, yeah. Differential Kane captain. Single game week captain. I mean, Kane does have a very good record against Leicester. It could come off, but I tend to back the double game week players. That said, if there's ever a situation like last season where we're captaining Dennis, then hold me back. I'm not doing that again. Amy says Bruno to KDB or Odegaard or Mahrez or Martinelli to Saka from -4. It's really hard to answer this one. The reason being, it depends on how your team's going to look for Game Week 25, right? If you go Bruno to KDB, I think that's the best move for you. But if you plan to go KDB to Salah in Game Week 25 when he doubles, then it's a bit messy because you've got 2 booked-in transfers over the space of 3 game weeks. And it gives you no room to tidy up the rest of your team if the rest of your team's in bad shape. In my case, I had Doherty, I had Patterson, I had 6 players that are going to blank in 25. So I had to do a bit of tidying up, really, clear out some deadwoods. So I went Doherty to Akanji. But Bruno to KDB, I would say. If that's for free. For -4, not so sure. If both of them are a -4, Martinelli to Saka. Surely they're both for a -4 though, right? Is that what you mean? Yeah, they're both for a -4, unless you go Bruno down to Odegaard and Mahrez. I think I'd go Bruno to KDB. Bruno to KDB. Right, get your guesses in the chat. We're going to have a quick look at the Kings of the Game Week standings. It was Rashford who joined the Kings. The last 2 have been a bit boring. It was Rashford for his double game week. It was Haaland in Game Week 21. Guesses in the chat. Who's going to be the King of the Game Week for Game Week 23? The top scorer is what we're looking for. While you get your quick guesses in, I'm just going to have a quick look in case there's been any last minute leaks or news or anything. Don't think so. Looks all good. Right, what are the Haaland, Kane easy, Saka, Nonto. Start Kukurea or Shaw? Sure. Kenny Tete. Mitrovic. Mahrez. I mean, one of you surely is going to be right. If you guys haven't yet, get your guesses in on the Discord channel. If you're not in the Discord, there's a link below. We've got about 11,000 members, and there's a channel where you get your guesses in. It works slightly different on Discord. You can't guess someone that's been guessed before you, so it gets quite hard as we approach the deadline. But if you haven't done that yet, go get your guesses in. You've got just under half an hour. Rashford, KDB, Harry Kane, Nketiah in the room, Ward, Odegaard. Is KDB starting? He should be. John Cena. Hi Coffee, how we doing? Welcome to the stream. King, Mahrez, Saka, Haaland, of course. Yeah, we'll have to see. It'd be nice if we had a random one again after Rashford and Haaland, the last two. It's always fun when we get these random ones. So, yeah, just quickly talking about my team. I've made my transfer. I went Doherty to Akanji. So, I've got 3 that double now. I've got 3 Arsenal that double. I've got 3 City that double. My plan, I think, is I'm gonna roll the transfer in game week 24. And then in game week 25, I'll probably sell Shaw. And I'll probably sell Fernandes. So, I'll probably do Bruno to Salah. Reluctantly, and Shaw to Tarkowski, something like that. That gets me to 10 or 11 if Patterson plays. I've just realised we haven't even done the news roundup, so I'll very quickly run through the news. There's not too much to cover this week, but some Liverpool news on the subject of Salah. Arthur, Van Dijk, Firmino and Jota all back in training, so that's very positive. That'll be a big boost. Especially as we approach the double game week 25. Liverpool might look a bit better by then. Man United news. Ten Hag says that Anthony Martial and Tomine are likely to miss the games against Leeds United and Barcelona. Martial, what a troll. I'm so glad I sold him for Nketiah a few weeks back before he got that brace. That was one of my best transfers this season, actually. Bit of Everton news. Sean Dyche is back with the old touch and go. On Calvert-Lewin, he says, we're still monitoring him. He'll be touch and go at best, I think, for the Liverpool game. So, maybe no Calvert-Lewin. But the other Everton news is that Patterson is back in training, which is excellent news as a Patterson owner, considering they've got the double game week 25. Whether he comes back into the starting 11 or not, I don't know. I hope so. Everton fans will argue that he is the much better player, but Dyche might want to rely on the experience of Coleman, so we'll have to see. Botman starts. Yeah, he should start. He's been a very consistent starter. Should I sell Almiron? It depends who for. I did have the option to do Almiron to Grealish or Mahrez, and it could be a mistake not to go there, but it left my team in a pretty messy position, except the Grealish transfer for Game Week 25. It basically made it impossible for me to go Bruno to Salah if I went Almiron to Mahrez, so I swerved it and I've just doubled up on defence. Will Isak start? I'd be surprised. He might. I'd be surprised. It'd probably be St. Maximan, Wilson, Almiron. I did think Gordon did quite well, actually, by the way, on his debut off the bench. He was good. He looked sharp. But probably be a threat to St. Maximan's minutes. Might be Murphy that comes on for Almiron. Should I sell Kevin De Bruyne? Should you sell Kevin De Bruyne before a double game week? What do you think? No, you shouldn't. Definitely not. Why would you sell De Bruyne? I know he's benched last game week, but it's a double game week, and I think he starts both. Did I miss a super chat there? Sorry, Heike. Ask it again. I think actually in the YouTube studio there's a way for me to see all recent super chats so that when I miss them I can actually just very easily locate them, because YouTube does it such a bad way. It's there at the top of chat for like 30 seconds and then it's gone, and then I'd have to just scroll up. There's got to be a better system. Oh, there is somewhere I can see them all. Oh, now I can call you out if you didn't ask it. Where was it? Where was the super chat? Laporte in both projections worth a punt. So yeah, let's pull up. I know we looked at Luke's graphic. I also have one from. I should remember his name. I think it's at Alex_MCFC, and he's done a couple of nice graphics here on his predicted lineups. And interestingly, his looks somewhat different. So basically, in a nutshell, it's what we already knew. Pep Roulette is so unpredictable that it's hard to say. I think Laporte starts one game. So I'm going to sit on the fence between this prediction and Luke's. I think Laporte starts... In fact, I think... What did Luke have? I think he had Ake in one, Laporte in one. I think Laporte starts one, Ake starts one. What bleeps out to me is this prediction and Luke's prediction has Akanji as a high chance of starting both. So in my eyes, I think Akanji's the one, if anything. But yeah, what he's done here is he's colour coded it. So yellow is 60 to 79% chance. He's kind of given his belief on the likelihood of them starting that game. So for example, he's got Haaland 90 to 100%. He's very confident in that. But then, you know, for example, Gundogan, he's less sure on for the first game. I think Gundogan does come in. Maybe not both games. Ilias says, I got on FR. Who's FR? But only one City and two Arsenal. What to do? I got on FR. One City and two Arsenal. What to do? So, if you're on two Arsenal, you triple up basically. You have to find a way to triple up on Arsenal. In my opinion, it's non-negotiable for the next few weeks. They've got 2 double game weeks and 3 game weeks. So, Saka, Ødegaard, Gabriel, they're my favourite 3. And Ketty is good for this week. Not sure further afield what Jesus' chance are of making double game week 25 or not. Probably be okay, but yeah, this is good actually. I can see super chats in another window, so I don't ever miss any again, because I feel awful when I miss them. I've ended up DMing people after the streams and saying like, sorry I missed it, just ask me a question in DMs anytime. Slaughter in the chat, how we doing, mate? Andrew says Shrove Tuesday or Valentine's Day. For me it's Valentine's Day. Going out for a meal with my girlfriend on Tuesday. But it's probably going to be absolutely heaving wherever we go. But yeah, we're trying to find somewhere to make a reservation. Is there any Chelsea news? I've not seen anything. Let's have another look. How long have we got? 20 minutes till the deadline. There might be something that comes through a bit closer to the deadline, but nothing as of yet. No, nothing. Start Botman or Shaw? I think I'd go Botman. They're playing Bournemouth, who just really have struggled for goals all season, so I'd go Botman. And I think they're still missing Solanke as well. Bournemouth. Zayab says, hey Oscar, thanks so much for the content. What do you think of White to Gabriel for a hit? I don't think this one is worth it. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. Not in isolation. As I was saying earlier, if you're going White to Gabriel for a -4, you're betting on White being benched for a game or coming off before 60, and on Gabriel keeping a clean sheet when he starts, or on Gabriel getting an attacking return. I just feel like the odds for that are quite low. It could happen, but I feel like you're betting 4 points, 4 valuable points, on a fairly sideways move. So, not for me. The only time I'd consider it is if you could do it as a combination of moves. As I was saying earlier, like if you had 2 free transfers and then you went Bruno down to Saka, and then you had money to go White to Gabriel, I think that's fine. But for a hit, just seems like you're betting on something that isn't that likely. But if you like a risk, if you like a punt, then by all means. Obviously there is a chance Tomiyasu comes in for a game and Gabriel's nailed, which is his appeal, but a bit risky for me. I'm just going to quickly take a screenshot of my team because I always forget, and I'll post that on Twitter. Oh, that was loud. Gameweek 23, Doherty to Kenji. I need to find a way to do these a bit tidier. Can I use arrows? Do like an out and in. That looks a bit nicer, doesn't it? How about that? Maybe a little calendar. Game week 23, Doherty Akanji. Just go like that. Oh, sorry. I'm on a... Apologies. Didn't realise it was on a pink screen. You can't see it, sorry. Let me go back. What was it? I just tweeted my team, that's all it was. If you're not following me, I'm at fplfocal. I just tweeted my team. Translate tweet. Translated from Swahili. What's the translation? It's the same. Anyway, Doherty to Akanji. At fplfocal on Twitter. North London is red. Yeah, that's why I did it, obviously. Don't tweet. Why not? It's too late. I've tweeted it. It's out there. I don't care if people copy my moves at all, by the way. I said this last season as well, and that was when I got to #1 in the world. Like, if you guys had copied me last season, you'd have been #1. If you copied me this season, you'd be doing pretty bad. But it's actually difficult to copy my team, really, because sometimes I make transfers before price changes, and then you will only see it like on the deadline stream, so it doesn't really work in reality. Ilias says, my team is Kepa, in Gabriel, Shaw, Trippier, Bruno, Andreas, Martinelli, Rashford, Mitrovic, Haaland and Kane. How should I improve this? Ideally, I need to know how much you've got in the bank as well. Because obviously, if you could go Martinelli to Odegaard, if you can afford that, then that's an improvement right there. Have you only got 2 Arsenal? So you go Bruno to Saka, Martinelli to Odegaard. Right? That's what leaps out to me. Yeah, I can't think of any other upside moves. I mean, Mitro to Nketiah is an option, but I think I would go Bruno to Saka, Martinelli to Odegaard. Those 2 moves. And the rest of your team is very, very good. Looks like a nice team. The only other option is to do Mitro to Nketiah, and then Martinelli to Odegaard. That's the other route you could take. One of those 2 moves are good moves. John, thanks for the super chat as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. I think I missed one. Let me scroll up. Mohammed says, worth for -8. Bruno to Mahrez, Safa Ramsdale, and Amron to Odegaard. I don't think that's worth for -8. It's a bit of an aggressive -8. Is that going to be repaid this week? I'm not convinced it is. Wolves are away to Southampton. Bruno's been doing really well, consistent. Almiron, yeah, maybe not, but he's against Bournemouth, you never know. I don't know if I would do that for a -8. Personally, I wouldn't if that was my team. What about for a -4? Can you afford it for a -4? I think the Ramsdale you can just leave out. And you just start Sarr. I don't mind Bruno to Mahrez, Alma to Odegaard. That makes sense. I don't think I'd take a -8 for Ramsdale. Just play Sarr. Yeah, it makes sense the -4, but not for a -8. Alright, I've got another idea for a poll for you guys. So the question is, how many chips do you have left? So 2, 3, 4, Is 5 an option? Wildcard, free hit, bench boost, triple captain. No. It's 4 max you can have now, isn't there? How many chips do you have left? Should I start Alvarez for the City double game week? Yeah, if I had him, I'd start him. Christopher, how you doing, Chris? He says, morning, bruv. Start James or Shaw. Good luck. Yeah, I was thinking about this one the other day. This is close. Someone in the members channel on Discord asked this. I think I'd give it to Shaw, just because James is only just back. I think I'd err on the side of caution. He didn't make it to 60 minutes last game. He might this game, but I think I would give it to Shaw. Those of you that are voting on that poll, the wildcard is a chip, so it's wildcard, bench boost, free hit, and triple captain. So the max you could have is 4. Ilias says, is the -4 worth it for the switch? Was this the Martinelli to Ødegaard one and Bruno to Mahrez? I think that's worth it, yeah. That's worth it. Because Arsenal have 2 double game weeks in the next 3 weeks. We'll have a quick look at the ticker again, just to refresh ourselves on what the landscape looks like. Because there's so much going on here. We've got a double game week, 23, and then we've got a double and blank game week, 25. So for me, I look at this. Arsenal with 2 double game weeks in the next 3 weeks. So it's important to have the right 3 players. And I don't think Martinelli is the right one anymore. There is every chance that he still does well. He could cause lots of problems against Brentford. He could against City, but he came off before 60 minutes last match for Trossard for a 1-pointer. So I think having the right triple up is important. And then going Bruno to Mahrez, you gain a fixture now, and you gain a fixture in 25 because City play away to Bournemouth and Man United blank. So I think that's fine for a -4. If any of you aren't in the fplfocal mini league, I think this is the first time this season I've remembered to mention it. The league code is OHQB6D, so you still got 10 minutes to join. Either just go on the app, join mini league, and put in that code, or if you want, use the link in the description, and it just auto joins you. In the description, there's an area that says links, and the very top link is a link to auto join. So you just click that and it will say, do you want to join FPL Focal's mini league? And then you just go yes. Shout out to first place. I've forgotten his name now. He's like, I think he's like 20 something in the world. Toby McFarlane, currently 37th overall. So yeah, if you're not in my mini league, that's the code. Link in the description for that. Poll results. How many chips do you have left? 1, 2, 3, 4. 9% of 1, 26% of 2, 48% of 3, and 16% are yet to use a chip in the second half of the season. Interesting. Right. Mohammed says, or retain KDB to Bruno and Shah to Kilman from -4. Or retain De Bruyne to Bruno. That doesn't make sense to retain De Bruyne to Bruno. Do you mean Bruno to De Bruyne? No, I wouldn't do Shah to Kilman for a -4. Definitely not. Definitely not. Newcastle right up there on the clean sheet odds, so I wouldn't be doing that. I'm sure someone asked a question about double game week players, so we'll do that as well. Was it John who asked? How many double game week players have you got? So 3, 4, 5, 6. Get your votes in. How many double game week players have you got this week? Ilias says Rico, Lewis or Shaw to start. I've got Lewis on the bench. Yeah, I'd start Rico. I mean, there is a chance he misses one game, but I would personally start the double game week player. I know there's a chance he does get benched for one, but you'd absolutely kick yourself if you start Lewis, he keeps a clean sheet. Sorry, if you bench Lewis and he starts against Villa, keeps a clean sheet, Shaw concedes, And then maybe Lewis starts the second game, maybe he comes off the bench, and that's 7 points. You have to start Lewis. Russell says Bruno to KDB for a -4. For a -4. Oh, that one's a coin toss. What do you guys in chat think? Bruno to KDB for a -4. Would you take that hit? It makes so much sense for free. But even then, I didn't do it for free. I think one thing you have to consider, Russell, is if you're making that move this week, then what's the rest of your plans going to look like? Because if you're going De Bruyne to Salah in Gameweek 25, then that's 2 booked-in transfers in the next 3 weeks. Are you going to be able to get through 25 effectively, or are you going to leave yourself short? Or do you just plan to ignore Salah completely in 25? That's the other option. Coffee says no way. Chat says not worth it. I think I would agree. I just think as well, it's not like you're selling someone who's been doing badly. Bruno's been doing really well. His returns are 2, 10, 5, 10, 9, 6, 6, 3, 6. 3 double-digit returns this season. I probably wouldn't do it for a -4. Slaughter says ignoring Salah looks reasonable from this point of view. Yeah, I'd like to see more from Liverpool by the time we get to the double game week, because yeah, right now it's a pretty tough sell, isn't it? Right, we've got just under 10 minutes till the deadline. Thank you everyone who has tuned in so far. Hit like on the stream if you have enjoyed it, if you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for everyone that has tuned in, whether you swang by for a few minutes or if you've been here the whole time. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Robert says start Tony or Andreas and Stones and Martinelli to Tarkowski or Kilman and Saka from -4. I think I'd start Andreas, to be honest with you. Andreas over Tony. And Stones and Martinelli to Tarkowski, Saka from -4. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I like that. I think I would go Tarkowski if you don't need to play him this week. But yeah, Tarkowski and Kilman, they're pretty much dead even to me. I mean, looking at their double Gameweek 25 fixtures, there's not much between them. We'll have one final skim over the double Gameweek fixtures. The first, we'll have a look at the double Gameweek 25. Everton have got Aston Villa at home, Arsenal away. Wolves have got Fulham away, Liverpool away. So I like Everton slightly more, but there's not much in it. I would do the -4 though. Yeah, I would. That's a good -4. Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool and Wolves are the 4 teams that double in 25. But in case you missed it, we have a double Gameweek 27 announcement which dropped yesterday, and that's Brighton, Brentford, Crystal Palace and Southampton. Brighton have got Leeds and Palace, Brentford have got Everton and Southampton, Palace have got City and Brighton, and Southampton have got United and Brentford. So my initial thoughts were Brighton and Brentford, the 2 teams. I look here and I'm rubbing my hands together thinking there's going to be some good opportunities there. Maybe Mitoma captain, maybe bring in Tony. What's really difficult though is that Brighton, Brentford and Southampton double in 27, but then they almost certainly blank in 28. So this is going to be an absolute nightmare to navigate. And I think this is where, in the coming weeks, not now, in the coming weeks, we'll talk more about chip strategy. So make sure you subscribe for that to come. There's different ways you could tackle it. For example, you could wildcard 27, and then you can get in a few Brighton and Brentford players. Then you could free hit 28, which is the big blank game week. And then you could bench boost 29, which would be the biggest double game week of the season. $133 subscribers. Damn, I've been here since 70k. Thanks for all the support. I mean, 70k is still early, but yeah, the channel's growing at an unbelievable rate that I never expected. I've only been doing videos for like a year and a half. So thanks for that. Appreciate all the support, whether you were here early or late. Well, hopefully right now is still early days in this channel's future. Grealish or Mahrez? Mahrez. Almiron to Mahrez or Roll? Almiron to Mahrez I like, but just... I looked at that move myself. I liked it, but just check how you look in later game weeks, because going Almiron to Mahrez left me in a really awkward position for Game Week 25, because I no longer had the money to do Bruno to Salah, which is a move I might want. I might not want it, but I didn't really want to shut the door on that opportunity. But yeah, if you're happy to go Salahless in Game Week 25 when he doubles, then by all means, good move. Tony is close to a ban, I hear, says Richard. He is. He's on 8 yellow cards. If he gets 2 more, then it's a 2-match suspension, basically. So, yeah, the absolute worst thing that could happen is he gets a yellow card in Game Week 26, and that means he misses double Game Week 27 entirely. So, poll results. How many double Game Week 23 players have you got? 6% have got 3, 14% have got 4, 37% have got 5, and 44% have got 6. So yeah, pretty good. Looking pretty good, chap. Looking pretty organised for this double game week. Nice work there. Well done. 2 minutes till the deadline. Last chance to get your questions in. Make sure your bench is in the right order. This stream has absolutely flown by. Really enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys have as well. Just check. I mean, there's so many graphics I prepare for these streams. I didn't get a chance to go through it all, but anything I miss here will be covered in the coming weeks in my videos. So just hit subscribe if you're not already. There'll be lots of good FPL content to come, and I'm sure you guys know already. I make nice, short and sweet content, so you'll be up to speed nice and quickly, basically. I actually write up everything I'm going to say for every video. I got a bit carried away with yesterday's to experts video. I wrote 2,300 words for that video, which is a bit mad. I don't think I wrote that many when I was back in school. Shafquat says, no questions, but really appreciate your contents. Good luck, pal. Thank you, appreciate that. John says, have a good day, Oscar. You too, have a good day, everyone. I'm buzzing for today. I'm going to Arsenal v Brentford after the stream ends. So hopefully it'll be a good day. Hopefully I'll see Nketiah, Ødegaard or Gabriel get me something, or a combination of them. Is there anyone live to raid once the stream wraps up, or do we just end it right there? Let's have a quick look who's live. Total Tactics. Let me know in chat once the deadline passes. Who's this? Paul Livesley. Paul Livesley, he's got 2 watching right now. I think that'd be a nice one. Deadline passed, that's it. Almiron dead, says Flashnan. Not Raptor. Raptor's got 4,500. He doesn't need my support. I like to support the smaller channels. He's got more than me right now. But yeah, he's having an outstanding season. I know he's had a few reds on the bounce, so hopefully he can turn it around this week. I'm not sure what moves he made. Anyway, what we'll do, we'll head over to Paul Livesley. He's only got 1 watching right now, so I think it would be nice if we go over and show some support. Let me just check he's not about to end.
Good amount. I don't know if I've got him playing.
Bloody hell. Oh, he's...
Drama at the last minute in the FPL focus shed has occurred.
Alright, we're going to head over to this stream. Go send some love from Paul Livesley. Tell him Focal sent you. We're going to go raid his channel. Enjoy the game week, everyone. Thanks all for tuning in. Drop a like before you go. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the weekend. Focal out.